Battery 30%.
Around the same time zone anyway as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we have a pretty good crowd over here. We're at over 60 people now. Hey everyone.
Hi everyone, how is it going?
Hello.
Is there anyone from Indonesia? Head over to the AMA discussions and say hello. See a few familiar names here who are pretty active. Welcome, welcome. This is our first AMA in YGG Southeast Asia. And as you can tell from the background sound, Evan is the busiest one with all the notification in Discords.
Oh, sorry. That's. Hey.
Cool, Irene. So how do you want to get started?
On your account, really, boss.
All right. I think that took care of it.
All right, let's shall we just start then? Welcome everyone to the first AMA of YGG Southeast Asia in collaboration with YGG. And right now we are happy to obviously have Gabby Dizon from YGG, Evan Spytma, who is under sub-DAOism, and myself, Irene. Evan is the CEO of YGG Southeast Asia and co-founder, and myself is co-founder and Indonesia country manager. And today we're here to introduce YGG Southeast Asia to the world. So how about starting by having you guys tell us a little bit more about yourself, and maybe starting from Evan?
Okay. Hi, my name's Evan. I'm under sub-DAOism, and I've been in Asia now. I'm right now in Taipei. I've been in Asia for about 20 years. Video games for about 15 of those. I started my career with PopCap Games, expanding their operations into Asia, and then made the transition to Electronic Arts and then to Unity Game Engine. And so now I am with YGG Southeast Asia.
Ooh, how excited are you, right?
Extremely. It's awesome. It's a new business model. It's a new, never before play to earn model that I'm excited to explore.
That's good to know. That's good to know. I know that everyone here knows Gabby, but I guess Gabby, you want to be modest and say hello on introducing yourself?
Hi everyone. It's good to see everyone here. A lot of familiar people from the YGG server, and then a few new ones as well. So my name is Gabby Dizon, co-founder of Yield Guild Games, or YGG. We got started, I would say, around November in last year, and yeah, it's just been such a crazy year. The guild scene has exploded. Play to earn because of Axie and other games have also gone really big in the last year, and now we have so many people from around the world that are part of these play to earn gaming guilds. And of course YGG is the first one, and the one that started it all. But now we have our cousins, the subDAOs, coming up, and the first of that is YGGC covering Southeast Asia. And yeah, we're excited to talk about it with you today.
That's great. And so, Gabby, tell it. A lot of people ask me these questions, right? And I can't answer it because I'm a part of subDAO. So I think it's more fitting if we ask you this. Why do you have the visions of having a subDAO under YGG?
Sure. So when we started with YGG last year, so the way we work was that we work with community managers from around the world, and they were in our Discord server getting community members, and we had community members from all over, from Philippines, from Indonesia, Thailand, Venezuela, Brazil, Colombia, and all of that. And what we realized was that there was such a big opportunity to kind of go really deep in local roots. It was easy to expand in the Philippines because the just the rate of people who speak English is very high. But when you go to a lot of the kind of different countries, for Indonesia or Thailand, for example, there's a lot of people who want to learn and how to play the game, but you need a very local approach for it. And that's where the subDAO idea came from. And yeah, and now that we have you are in Indonesia, for example, going really deep, not only having the knowledge of kind of how to reach the players from around the country, but which partners to explore, how to partner with which business, and all of that, like we don't know, just sitting from where we are on the YGG server. I think we're really going to see a hyper localized approach into the guilds, into bringing people into play to earn guilds, and this is good because the goal of YGG is to really bring the benefits of Web3 to the next billion users from around the world, which means that you don't have to be rich, you don't have to have a lot of money to have access to game economies via blockchain. And the people who benefit the most are the people from more provincial, rural areas who don't have a lot of job opportunities. So we want to democratize the access to a kind of economic opportunity across the world. And you have to go really deep into each country to bring Web3, bring a crypto wallet into the players that need it the most.
Awesome. Thanks a lot, Gabby. What about you, Evan, being the CEO of the region? Are you happy, excited to receive the baton?
It's unbelievable. I mean, to be the first YGG sub-DAO, a lot of people say, where did you come up with the idea? And I have to say, no, it wasn't me. It was Gabby. And then they're just like, oh, I've never heard of this before. And I always point them to Gabby's white paper where you can see it right in black and white. Yeah, I really love how it's structured. And you just see the true benefit of the spin-off by providing a country-focused team that's able to very rapidly expand across the territory, basically leveraging their local knowledge, their networks. Irene, like Gabby says, you're a great example of that. And just for all the listeners out there, I mean, that's what we do. We reinforce the autonomy of each one of our country managers by placing co-founders there as well to support those local offices. So they're really the co-founders are really there to basically empower their teams and basically address the concerns of the community and make sure they're being answered.
Awesome, Evan. Great to know about that. And so, what's the relationship between YGG and YGG sub-DAO, YGG Southeast Asia? Is there for me, it's a big family, right? But just want to hear from both of you, like, what is the relationship between the two?
Yeah, definitely a family. YG itself invested into the Southeast Asia sub-DAO, and will be providing assets, and we'll be working together a lot on kind of projects that will help kind of bring greater adoption of the games that we're working with. So, for instance, for YGG itself, we still handle Philippines directly with our country manager, Luis Benaventura. And there's a lot of innovations that we are experimenting on in Philippines. And if some of these product innovation works, this is something that we'll carry across to Southeast Asia, see if it works in Thailand, in Malaysia, in Indonesia, in Vietnam, and vice versa. If there are innovations in YGGC, we'll also bring them across the Philippines and eventually the rest of the sub-DAOs across the world.
Cool. That's perfect. What about is there a difference then or synergy between the two DAOs then, YGG and YGG Southeast Asia?
Yeah, I think if you go to YG Southeast Asia, there's just going to be a lot more local flavor to it. And if you see here, the sea has its own guild badge, which is different from from the guild badge that we have in YGG. So this kind of connotes that you are also a member of the YGGC sub-DAO. And yeah, so there'll be different things that you can do here. Maybe you can do more localized Axie tournaments, for example. We'll have local content creators as well. And you'll see these in the kind of different country sub-DAOs across YGGC.
Awesome. I feel like I have a spy here because Gabby, in Indonesia, we just one of our scholarship manager just did a tournament that's community driven, where it's a competition between 7 cities across Indonesia involving
Oh wow,
700 people. Just
that's
recently,
amazing.
right? Yeah,
That's really amazing.
and in Thailand, there's also we also sponsored 200 plus. I think the 200 plus teams in Thailand just last month alone. So you hit it
Nice.
spot on right there. So
Yeah. Just to add to that, because I've heard this question as well, is like they say, where does the YGGC actually live? And I guess the best way to put this is maybe it's essentially under the grouping of YGG. YGGC is just a very localized economy that is just part of the wider YGG economy. And so as the YGGC sub-DAO grows, so does YGG, and concurrently. So as YGG grows and YGGC grows, the members of YGGC also have greater access to a lot of the in-game assets that also YGG would also hold, and other sub-DAOs.
awesome, fantastic. So why do you guys think that this model will create more impact in the play to earn space? The guild model, I mean.
Oh, guilds have been kind of really game changer for the game industry and for play to earn blockchain games in general. Starting with Axie Infinity, you see how guilds are able to buy assets on behalf of players and just bring so many players into the game. So it's a kind of user acquisition for games that never existed before. And now you see a lot of games that are being built specifically for the guild model. And in return, we have all of these players that are coming into the games, filling up these game economies and kind of starting to own assets in these games. So it's just very interesting in that the game industry has never seen this before. And honestly, Southeast Asia is the lead in the world when it comes to kind of action in the guilds. We are the ones that are innovating. And that's what we're seeing here, in that we are actually the leaders in the world when it comes to innovation in guilds and play to earn.
What do you think?
What do you think, Alfred?
I don't know if I did something. Yeah, I agree with Gabby. I mean, right now you have Philippines as really the leader in play to earn, and that's really largely entirely due to Gabby. He and his team basically put together this business model that's just so well suited for developing nations. And now it seems like essentially Gabby's handing off a baton to us to finish off the race for the rest of Southeast Asia. I think some of the factors that go into it are basically because Southeast Asia is so similar to the Philippines model, is essentially because of it's a developing nation, and the typical characteristics that would be associated with a developing nation would be like something like little industrial and economic development, large populations that generate low income. So that's the amazingly beautiful part of this, is that all these factors are extremely positive in the metaverse. Purchasing power has turned into playing power, And these large populations now have the upper hand to create their own economies and generate their more income in the metaverse than they are in the real world. And essentially, you're seeing Southeast Asian players become the dominant players, like Gabby was saying. The guilds basically enable that to happen without any upfront fees, which is a huge barrier to play to earn. So if you combine all these elements with like a really young population that has a mobile first mentality, and they're eager to actually consume digital content, and they have localized support teams like yourself, Irene, I believe that this is going to really quickly drive the community into the crypto realm.
That's interesting, Evan. This morning I was just saying that I'm gonna coin the term crypto inclusion, because even here in Indonesia, I'm sure that a lot of people in Indonesia, we talk about the unbankable, right? That are more than 50% of Indonesian populations, they don't have bank accounts, right? But most of our scholars, their first digital account is a Ronin wallet.
Yeah,
So
that's so amazing. It's the same here in the Philippines. There's so many people who don't have bank accounts who have Ronin wallets. It's insane.
it's mind blowing, right? And then the moment they have their Ronin wallets, and then we go backwards, to start to have exchanges account and then bank accounts. But it's just mind blowing, and that's why I kept saying, and Gabby, not sure if you would prove it, that what we do in YGG as a whole, YGG Southeast Asia and YGG, is essentially crypto inclusion. It's no longer financial inclusion, but we are skipping one step to go forward to crypto inclusion, and that's what we're doing, I feel. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. If you saw the documentary that we released called Play to Earn in YouTube earlier this year, we went to Cabanatuan City to tell the story of the people who were kind of saved from poverty during the early lockdown last year because they were playing Axie Infinity. And fast forward a year later, the people who have started playing Axie there have done so well. And we can't wait to hear more of these stories from Indonesia, from Thailand, from Vietnam, from Malaysia, and honestly, just all over the world.
Yeah, Gabby, I think Evan and I, we are both very excited also to travel all over Southeast Asia to see, even within Indonesia for myself, to meet face to face with all the players, all the gamers, and just welcome them into the YGG metaverse. But tell me about the data though, in terms of data, right? I think a lot of game developers, as you know, Gab and Evan, uh, there are a lot of gamers in Southeast Asia region. How is it in comparison with crypto users, and what would be the growth potentials in your view?
I think there's around 3.4 billion global gamers, 2.2 billion on mobile. But when you compare the 2.2 billion on mobile or the 3.4 billion of overall gamers, it's huge compared to the estimated 300, I think it's around 300 million on cryptocurrency. So the amount of upswing, given that all of these crypto games that are an easy onboarding to the crypto world, and if you transfer even a portion of these 3.4 billion gamers, you're going to see a huge lift into crypto. Essentially, I mean, yeah, I think that the upside on this is immense. It's you want to talk about Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies going into the hundreds of thousands of dollars. I think this is how you're going to do it. Drive demand.
Totally agree with you, because just a year and a half ago, right, we started to have something called as DeFi, right? But that didn't really take off until the play to earn model come into place, right? And it seems that gamers are ultimately the onboarding tools.
Yeah.
I mean,
And
who
then
doesn't like to play, right? All of us, regardless of our age, even though parents will tell their kids, "Hey, stop playing games," but my parents play Candy Crush. So that's an amazing phenomenon. Now, looking into the Southeast Asian market potentials, Philippines is obviously the capital for crypto, right? As they call it, the biggest market for play to earn. But what makes you, Evan, believe, and Gabby also, believe that the rest of Southeast Asian community has the same potential for crypto adoptions? I know you answered to this a little bit just now, but just want to be very particular that what makes you believe that the rest of Southeast Asian community has the same potentials? Because each country is different, right?
Fair enough, but I mean, the easiest way is just to look at MetaMask, right? If you just look at the top 10 ranking on MetaMask by countries, you'll see that Southeast Asian countries represent 4 of the top 10. Philippines, of course, is number 1 because of Gabby. Vietnam is 3rd, and then Indonesia is 9th, and Thailand is 10th. So if
That's
you're
so
looking,
crazy.
yeah, and you just look at that potential, right? Number 9 is Indonesia. You've got some work to do, Irene. I'm sure you can take on Gabby.
And guys on the floor, I hope from the 93 people, there are some Indonesians. Kalau ada orang Indonesia, you know who you are. Yeah, we got to work together, man. How can Indonesia be number 9? Dude,
Yeah,
we gotta work to do.
yeah, Papuyu is slacking.
Yeah, where's Papuyu? I see Apa. Apa is there. Papuyu is there. Apa, Papuyu. After this, kita perlu kerja bareng ya. I had to slide a bit to Bahasa to make sure that everybody understand me, and I hope that in out of this 93 who are listening and more in other channels, there are more Indonesians, so we can move up from number 9 to which number should we go for? Yeah, number 1.
Should be number 1.
Blessing is there from Gabby. Thank you. So Indonesia shall be number 1. But Gab, you gotta be careful because I see a lot of Filipinos and fellow Kabayans also here. But that's the beauty, right, Gab? I mean, we've been in the gaming space for years. There's no really competition. It's really all about collaborations, right? In gaming, it's all healthy competition. So whoever who's number 1, number 2, number 3, those are just numbers. What we want is a healthy competitions and make sure that whoever gets number 1, number 3, or number 9 even, we are working together towards a common goal, which is democratizations of gamers and bringing a lot of people to the play to earn space so that they could combine their passions and profit together. Is
Yes.
that okay, Gab?
Yes, absolutely.
Awesome. Now, when we talk about play to earn, what kind of economic impact do you think play to earn can bring to Southeast Asian countries? Right now, it's all about personal, right? They could get their income personally, but as an economy as a whole, what kind of economic impact do you think that P2E could bring?
Yeah, we were looking at some stats earlier this year, and if you look at these play to earn economies like Axie and the amount that people are earning via SLP, it was already greater than the amount being remitted by overseas Filipino workers from Singapore and Hong Kong to the Philippines. And remittance had always been one of the top kind of sources of revenue for the Philippines. So to have play to earn become one of the top remittance centers, basically, or countries, if you think of Axie or Lunasia as a digital nation, it's now maybe number 7 or number 6 country that's remitting money to the Philippines. That's really insane. So you have a level of income that is flowing to the Philippines that is basically brand new. And it's flowing not just to the rich people in the cities, it's flowing to everyone from across the country, from Cabanatuan to Davao to Iloilo to to like Bandung to Phuket, like just it's flowing everywhere to to just regular people around the region. And this is quite remarkable because usually if you have new businesses, it's kind of the rich business centers and the investors there that win, but it's here you see the gamers that are winning, you see the value flowing, and your gamers that are part of YGG and YGGC, they're learning how to use DeFi, their own NFTs, they're buying digital land, they're yield farming for RON tokens. Suddenly, they're the most sophisticated people in crypto in all of the country, and that's really, really, really amazing.
That's a good point right there. I'm gonna move to Evan. Evan, I know that we started It's funny because it feels like I'm asking myself as well. But we started this thing on 1st of November, right? So it's only fitting if I ask you as the CEO of YGG Southeast Asia, what have we done in the first few weeks of YGG Southeast Asia? Because it seems that we have been on stealth mode. Nobody even knows that this Discord channels that we're speaking in exist. And what have we done in the past few weeks, Evan?
Well, largely because of you. Come on now. So I would say, yeah, like you say, we started in basically November 1st, hit the ground running thanks to Gabby and his team. They were able to provide us with the back end technology and the assets to really get us up and running. And then the country managers, I mean, this goes to what we did. We established offices in Thailand, Indonesia, and Malaysia. And we quickly just hit the markets very rapidly. And then we started to invest in a lot of local games as well as international games in preparation for essentially when these games launch to give our players, our guild members, the ability to earn potentially more and not all be just centered around Axie. So we already had that feeling like we need to prep for at least Q1 to have some games lined up. And I think it was great that we were able to make that investment locally and then start to build the community and have the weekly meetups. And we still maintain the core that Gabby established with basically the industry leading 70% rev share going back to the players for their gaming efforts. And that I think is really great and amazing. In addition to that, I don't know, maybe we'll get into it later though, but the rounds of financing as well, but maybe we'll get into that later. I'd love to hear how Gabby feels about it. Did you ever expect that so much would be done in a month and a half?
No, the pace of just how things have been moving has been really, really great, and we can't see what we can get done just in the first few months of next year.
You're up for it though, Gab, right? You know that we're gonna be bugging you.
You can bug me anytime.
And what can the community expect though, Evan, for YGG Southeast Asia in the coming weeks?
You know, well, I would say there's a few things, but I don't necessarily want to. Let's back it up a little bit and start talking about a little bit like what Gabby was talking about in terms of economic change, because I think this is really important. I think it's economic change and psychological change. I think that we're almost into 2022, and largely 2021 has been the year of NFTs. Most people would say that, but I truly do believe that 2022 is going to be the year of play to earn. And we're going to be pulling out of COVID, and COVID's been devastating to the economies and devastating to families. And like Gabby said, there's real money now flowing into people's hands all across the nation. So I think from just a player perspective, it's great. But there's also other segments of the industries that we can start to target, and that's employers and governments and students. Gabby, of course, was on the forefront of this with employers being able to transition their labor costs into sales from play to earn. Inactive, basically, employers were able to turn their employees into scholars instead of firing them. And I think with governments, it's going to be pretty much the same thing, where we can essentially eliminate unemployment by providing scholarships to the unemployed. And I know you're focused on this, Irene, as well as the student population. During this time, they've felt like they've had to stop going to school and start supporting their families as little as they can do, but or as much as they can do, but they're making very little, and that comes at a high cost, where they have to drop out of school. So pushing that play to learn model into the governments, into the schools, is very important. And overall, this means that the government will have to spend less money on giving scholarships and grants to those that can't afford to go to school. So really excited about those things on that front. In terms of other things in I would say the weeks to come, I would say you're looking at, I know this is really something that everyone's talked to me about and messaged me. So basically, we are going to be IDOing a coin in the coming weeks. And if you, more information will be released regarding the launch in the coming days. But maybe it's good to give this audience a sneak peek of what's coming. We believe it's at the core of the coin. The YGG Southeast Asian token represents essentially economic freedom through the metaverse. So I hope that today's audience kind of seizes this opportunity to have a voice in the metaverse. I know many have felt that they weren't fast enough to obtaining the YGG coin offering when it first launched, and I really do believe that now they have their second chance. So we'll be offering this coin through Copper Launch, and we believe it's the best means of having a fair and a fair launch and distribution to our audience. But what we're trying to achieve is a fully decentralized sub-DAO that is fully operated by the community. And so, again, we'll be releasing a lot of the details of the benefits of the token and the reward tiers and the timelines associated to the community shortly. But overall, what the token holders can expect is, after you have received your token, you will have the opportunity to stake and lock them for substantial rewards. Some of those rewards will be exclusive tokens and NFT reward airdrops. I think access to like unique player assets and benefits, early access to new game titles and assets. A lot of developers are really eager to work with us on that front. They want our guild members in there building the economies early. But as I said, we'll be releasing a lot of these details on the benefits and the reward tiers in the coming weeks.
Evan, I'm just checking at the AMA discussions, right? People are going nuts. The status of everyone, I see everyone going red or pink. I'm a bit colorblind in that sense, because people are just going into the minted badges. So we haven't said anything about this, but I think everyone has figured it out in the AMA channel. So I'm just gonna announce it for a while, yeah. So if no color bullying, please help each other, because in YGG, as we are building a positive environment where we are helping each other out as a community. So if you see all the names that are still white, please help them to go and mint. All you have to do is very, very simple. Just scroll up all the way to the top, and there is a get started channels where you can go to get badge. Once you get your badge, you can verify it. Don't worry about gas, because it's on Polygon network. It's 0.000 something. If you want to ask me what's the utility of the badge, I'm going to throw it to Gabby and Evan to answer to those. But all I can say is go and get your badge right now. I think the badge holder is 700 right now, which it's incredible, Gap, because we accidentally launched it at Cypher
Huh,
AMA. And
nice.
people just come streaming into the YGGC Discord and start minting before we even say anything about it. So the badge holder right now that is verified is 700. So after you get your
Very
badge,
cool.
guys, make sure that you verify it, because there's 100,000 SLP as a giveaway. That's the first giveaway. So verify your badge, and right after that, there's a verified giveaways. And for those who are
Wow.
red, guys, don't bully, man. Gabby, can you tell the kids not to bully each other?
Be nice.
Yeah, there's no speculations, all right, on who's gonna win. It's gonna be a fair game, all right. And we have Lou Ball 13 who's still red. Well, I don't know, man. Maybe can someone help him out? He's still not yet a YGG badge holder. All right, so moving on just now, Evan, just to make sure that the crowd don't miss this, because Christmas is coming, and I know that what you just announced briefly, right?
Hmm.
When the crowd went crazy over batch and asking about Founder's Coin, guys, I haven't even got my Founder's Coin, so it's not yet out. So one at a time, right? So we got the batch going, and Evan just now mentioned something very important. A three-letter word before Christmas. Is it before Christmas or after Christmas?
Hey, you're gonna get in trouble. No, no, no. Can't say it. In the coming days, we'll be sure to let the community know. But as of right now, I do not believe you're going to get me to say a launch date.
I tried, guys. I tried to get him to say it, but he didn't want to say anything. I don't have the date. So, but IDO is coming, yeah? Is that correct, Evan?
Absolutely, it's coming.
Gabby, did I hear that correctly?
I heard it's coming.
Awesome. Wow, this is going to be great. So YGG has a token, and then YGGC is also going to have a token. That's amazing. One thing that I gotta ask though, right? I mean, this with the partnership, right, that is happening, and with the token sale that's happening, what in and amidst of all this craze in batch minting, what are you guys most enthusiastic about when it comes to YGGC?
Is it only regarding minting of badges? Because I
That's
must
all I'm
say, like,
hearing in EMA discussions, but I'm sure that they would be more
I've spent
excited.
most of my career in Southeast Asia, and I'm the thing that I'm most looking forward to is taking Gabby's model. It's been very difficult to try to find a model that works in Southeast Asia that can really benefit the region. And I'm really excited about this because there's true potential here for the region to become a global leader. And like Gabby says, this is the hottest region. Has the most potential. And I think we can really make a lot of changes for the good of the people in Southeast Asia. So that's what I'm most excited about. I know for sure that the communities will gather around this guild and support it. And in the end, I'm really looking forward to them running everything, running the community, really looking to invest in local game titles. For so long, there's a lot of talent in Southeast Asia, but they've largely been used as AAA content outsourcers. And that game is published and developed somewhere else. And the talent is in Southeast Asia. And this business model is actually enabling them to be front runners in this, while AAA content is kind of speaking with legal, seeing what they can do, being a little bit slow, and this is their time to shine. So that's really what I'm looking forward to the most, is seeing these local developers come out, having us support them, invest in them, and bring on local players. and generate real incomes for these people.
Awesome. What about you, Gab?
Yeah, well, I've been a game developer for a long time, so I largely agree. I want to be able to see more regional game developers making content for the region, and yeah, that would make me happier than for us in YUG and C to be able to invest in these titles.
Cool, cool. So now there's one more questions, right, that I have before I throw it to the floor. I know the floor is going crazy. I don't even know if they have any questions. Kalau ada pertanyaan langsung diketik ya di AMA channels. Kalau yang nggak ngerti bahasa Inggris nanti aku translatein. I can't speak Tagalog or Thai. I wish that the Thai country manager is here or co-founder Richie is here. But 2022, it's gonna be a new year. We all know that. But it's also gonna be a year of the battle of the guilds. A lot of people say this, right? A lot of people throw these questions at me. What are your thoughts about this?
Yeah, there's definitely going to be kind of guild wars starting next year. You're seeing a lot of guilds raise money and then kind of grow the distribution network around the world. I think this is great for players in general because there's just so many games that will get funded. This is great for these guilds because a lot of guilds are getting funded. And yeah, there will be a lot more choice, a lot more titles are going to be made. And yeah, I think generally this will be the most important way to bring crypto wallets to kind of the rest of the population via gaming and play to earn.
Evan, what do you think? I know
Uh,
you're about this.
So I look at the effects rather than the actual fighting of the guilds. So the effects of it on the people to actually adopt crypto faster, start learning about how they can create some level of yield. I mean, you you always go into the deep end, and then this is the difficult thing about crypto is you can watch all the YouTube videos and it's there's no comparison to a good friend that you trust sitting you down and walking you through the entire process and and that's the kind of local flavor that we have with our communities where we have mentorship programs where newbies are brought on board and they're partnered with veterans and they're just kind of shown the way of how to maximize their return on time, also how to eventually become more of a manager, and also from a gaming perspective how to play all of these games and which ones to play and how to play them. I think that's if we can get more of those resources to the community through these guild wars, I'm extremely happy because it means that we're going to be bringing better assets in from our treasury into the market. We're going to have better players leveraging those assets. And the game developers are going to see more players on their platforms and have more to be proud about. So for me, and then from an organizational standpoint, the pressure's on. We need to expand and we need to do it as quickly as possible. And pressure is good.
Awesome. It seems to be a very happy war that we are entering into, right? The more guilds there are, the more jobs created, the more happy players who can start earning. That sounds like Christmas all year long. But Evan and Gabby, we have YGG and now we have YGG Southeast Asia. And next year is the Battle of the Guilds. So, both chiefs, how do you think we could work together between YGG and YGG Southeast Asia in this Battle of Guild?
Yeah, no, absolutely. So there's many ways that we can work together. First is in going into different games with the guilds in games like I think it's like Aavegotchi or Crypto Unicorns. And there are a few others that we've already co-invested in, which means that we'll be bringing the assets of these games to our players collectively. We'll also be collaborating across esports, where we will have our esports players probably train with each other, compete against one another, and we'll probably be creating an elite team that will represent the best of the best across Southeast Asia and the rest of the YGG network. We'll have our content creators from around the region to push the games that we are supporting across our entire network. And yeah, just for the different kinds of content and the assets that you have, we'll be sharing that across really the entire network.
And we're so grateful for that. I mean, the YGG name brings in so many developers because they know our community, they trust our community, and they want them on board. So that it really opens up a huge pipeline of deals. In terms of maybe Gabby is I think maybe he doesn't see it from a beginner's perspective of starting an organization, but Gabby's tech that he can provide to streamline the process of onboarding scholars and monitoring them and making sure that they're maximizing their time. That's an invaluable tool that Gabby's providing to all of the sub-DAOs. And that allows us as a sub-DAO to just focus more on operational, educating the community, getting more scholars on board, and finding those additional games to invest in. That frees up so much of our time. Instead of building out the tech, we share that tech, and that's really important for us.
You know what, boys? Well, gentlemen, as we are chatting over here, we've got some people who are shilling the YGG SEA cap, and
Yeah.
we're having serious talk over here, right? And they were there, but that's good stuff, though. That's good to know, and happy to report that I think all the country managers on the ground in Thailand, in Malaysia, and in Indonesia, everyone is moving towards the same directions. Just want to hear directly from the two of you to make sure that we are all on track. And 2 days ago, I think there was just a partnership that's announced between YGGC and an Indonesian university. So when you think that academic world and gaming world can't combine together, and this is an announcement that's made by the university itself that they are offering YGGC / university academic scholarships.
Amazing.
And they call it academic. I didn't even call it academic scholarships, to ensure that students could stay in school, to ensure that students who want to go to university can go into university. And we got 2 scholars, 2 out of the, I don't know how many, right, from that university, that just recently gave a testimony that they never thought that at the age that they are in, they are able to support themselves through university and at the same time give some money to their parents. It's nuts. And so if there's anyone in the audience who are from the university, chat us up. We'll be happy to collaborate. And like Gabby said, I think a lot of esports team, we also in talks with a lot of esports team and a lot of game developers, because Gabby, you didn't mention, how long have you been in the game developer world?
18 years since 2003.
So that's 18, right? One
Yeah.
8. And I think a lot of people on the floor are just 18 years old. So Gabby have been in
That hurts.
all his life. And that is why this is he knows everything inside out. I still remember being with him, going to, I think we sneak out of conferences many times, right? Get to have a good fight and coffee. But he's
That's
been
right.
there all my life. I mean, I'm 18, right? So he's been there since he was born. Evan is sitting over there. Yeah, sure, of course. So that's great stuff. I think we're all excited. We're too excited over here. I would like to get back to the floor to see if there's any question. So Neku-san is saying that I was only watching Tom and Jerry when Gabby started game dev. And
Ouch.
I wasn't even born yet. My gosh. Sorry, Gab. Sorry to reveal that, but that's the truth, right? I mean, we don't judge. Um, there's a guy from Marksman who's asking, any thoughts of the recent Ubisoft NFT release?
Okay, so first of all, I've known the folks at Ubisoft on the blockchain side for a long time, like since 2018. The hard part, really, for a big and established company like Ubisoft is that a lot of their existing users are resistant to change. So when they do something innovative like NFTs, they get a lot of pushback. This is why it's a lot easier for a new kind of a new company or a new guild like YGG to create something innovative, a new game developer like Sky Mavis to create something like Axie Infinity, because there's no kind of established expectations of them of what they should be doing, so they're free to innovate and try something new. And yeah, that's really how it is. So I can continue to see that it'll be harder for the big game companies to really adopt NFTs and make it mainstream. It's really easier to for the newer studios to do that. And while this is true, it's the best time to start a company and create your own game.
You know, just when you say that, right, as if it's a prophecy. There's someone on the floor saying Shin from YGG, Shin dash YGG. And here I am being a dev for 3 years. I've never completed a game. I start a new project as soon as I made progress. You have any advice for Shin, Gap? Since you've been, in the space creating tons of games for 18 years.
Yeah, just start small. Start a small project that you can finish, and then get better with each one. That's really the only way forward.
What about Evan, right? I've been I've been grinding Gabby on how long he's been. You know, Evan is also a game veteran. So how long have you been in the space, Evan? 36 years?
Asia for 20, but this space 15.
15 in the gaming industry.
Yeah, and just along with what Gabby said, I mean, when I was with Unity, we would always travel to all the major cities in Southeast Asia, and we would do training on how to leverage Unity to build games, and that was always the question of I starting a game, but I have another idea, and they would start another game, and they would think of it as so complex and try to add so much to it, and we would always say, just start with like a ball, rolling it across the street, and then if you can do that, then you start adding colliders with cars and stuff like that, and then you start to build up from there. And but you accomplish something. Those are all baby steps, and eventually you get there. So
Eventually you'll get there.
I'll be there. Yeah.
Thank you, Evan. As I have hope eventually I'll get there somehow, and so does a lot of people in the AMA discussions. Guys, serious question. Since we have the two the top guns of YGG and YGG Southeast Asia, right? Our captain of the ship. Does anyone here have any questions other than minting the badge and where I can find my badge and how old we are? I'm getting bashed for asking questions about the years. But here's the thing, right? On a serious note, the reason why I want to highlight Gabby and Evans being veterans in the industry is because we see a lot of people entering the space, right? Be it play to earn, be it the guilds industry, and so on and so forth. But I think having those experiences, years of experiences in the industry, really help and set things aside. Evan leads the YGG Southeast Asia. He said that he started on 1st of November. We are only 1 month and 10 days away. And he is starting to talk about IDOs. That's mind blowing. And I don't think anyone in that space would be able to do that unless you have years of experiences in it. So boys and girls, I know that you're still fighting over batches, but you know what? One thing is you are in good hands. Is it fair to say that, Gabby and Evan?
Yeah, absolutely.
We YGGC would not be where we are without YGG blazing that trail forward. I'm sure there were many extremely long nights that Gabby went through when he was trying to get this off the ground, and we owe every bit of our success to YGG. And we're just starting out. But the other thing I'd like to point out is we talk a lot about the guilds, and it's kind of interesting because YGG is very all of the YGG team, they're all very public. Everyone knows the YGG team, and YGGC is the same way. You're not dealing with an anonymous guild with us. You're going to see us, like Irene said, you're going to be seeing us in your cities. You know our names. We've been trusted in the industry for a very long time, and we want to build on that trust. And we know that trust is earned, and we're going to earn it. And Gabby's already started that process. So we're just following in his footsteps right now.
Fantastic, thank you. Very well said, Evan. I agree that without Gabby and YGG's laying the foundational bricks for all the sub-DAOs that will come in, and YGG Southeast Asia being the first to experience it, we don't think that we could be at the pace that we are at today, at the luxuries that we have. Because scaling up and growing the community, trying to reach out to as many people as possible is not something simple. It looks simple, but it's not. And we have YGG obviously as the mothership to thank. And so thanks for that, Gab.
My pleasure. Let's get this done.
I've got two questions. I just asked them, right, guys, we are ending this AMA soon, and suddenly all the questions come out other than Mintic. So Heisley here is asking, since YGG SEA will have its own token, how will it differ from YGG token?
Well, first of all, they're different DAOs, right? So the C token will really represent the YGGC sub-DAO.
Evan, do you want to add anything to that?
It will have its own activities. They will have their own DeFi integration. So yeah, C itself is a completely different sub-DAO from YGG, and it kind of represents the different activities that are done in Southeast Asia, in these countries across Indonesia, Thailand, Malaysia, Vietnam, and YGG itself is invested into the C sub-DAO.
That's good to know. And Tim Cott is asking us, right? Curious how the price of YGG and YGGC will be related to each other. And can it be considered as a governance token too?
Well, I don't expect the price to be related because they are their own DAO, so people will buy it independently of each other, depending on whether they want exposure to the play-to-earn scene in Southeast Asia. That's probably why you want to buy the C token.
Oh. So it's a good buy, Chief.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And one more question from the floor is, how does staking C? Oh, suddenly we have a ticker, Evan. I don't even know that we already have a ticker. So how does staking C looks like? Any ETA? Evan, you want to take that?
You want me to get in trouble? So there is a whether you are a YGG or a YGGC token owner, you will be able to stake your token. And as we said earlier, a lot of the details will be coming out regarding that. That'll be in our. We'll probably release more of all of those details probably in the next. I think it's around 4 days is when our token article will come out, and so a lot of those details will be released, but it'll be through a studio called DeFi Studios, and that's where all of the staking and locking will occur.
Cool. So there will be staking mechanism in place once these tokens are out. Yeah, is that correct, Evan?
Absolutely.
Awesome, fantastic. One follow-up question. I think this one is for Gabby. Is Team Cod here thought that the YGG price was more or less the summation of all sub-DAOs. Perhaps you want to clarify that a little bit.
So YGG itself invests in different games, different DAOs, right? So, for example, we invested in BASE, which is a guild based in Brazil. Of course, we invested in YGGC, as well. And we'll continue to invest in other guilds in other regions around the world. And just the assets and the tokens that we hold in the treasury makes up for all of YGG. And if you want specific coverage of play to earn, for example, in Southeast Asia, that's when you would want exposure to the C token.
All right. So we're gonna have YGG Venus, YGG Mars, YGG Earth. It's a question from the floor.
YGG SEA is the first sub-DAO, but we will not be the last. We have YGG LATAM, YGG India, YGG Japan, all lined up, and so you'll be hearing more about that in the coming weeks as well.
So Evan, you kept saying, right, you'll be hearing that in the coming days, in the coming weeks, in the coming hours. So where can the people find this information?
All on our Twitter. We update Twitter constantly. We'll be launching Medium articles and placing them on our website at YGGSEA.io, and also, of course, Discord.
Awesome. So you guys, whoever who's listening, you're in Discord, so you're good. And there is a Medium. We just launched the first article today. So make sure that you follow it. And all the official links are all in Twitter and Medium. All right. I think I've covered most of the questions, if not all the questions on the floor. And wow, it's already 11:12 here in where we are at, and 12:12, I think, in where Gabby and Evan is in. Shall we call it a night then? Before we call it a night, just one last thing, one last word, one last message from the two chiefs. This is rare moments. I'm shaking right here, right? Gabby and Evan, such an honor to host you guys in YGGC sub-DAO, YGGC's Discord. Is there any message that you would like to send to the community that are listening, be it from the YGG Discord or YGGC or wherever they're listening here?
Well, for the community that is here, you guys are the pioneers. It's really great to have you in YGGC. Make sure to get your guild badge. At para sa mga nasa kabanatuan, makikita tayo bukas.
Evan just went froze over there. Oh crap! What Southeast Asian
Yeah,
dialect?
it's like, what language can I speak now? Mainly, I really look forward once these COVID restrictions are a bit more lenient, that we will be in your neighborhoods. I'd love to meet all of you personally, and really looking forward to 2022. It's really our year. So, and you're making that possible. So thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Gabby. Thank you so much, Evan. And thank you so much, the floor. You guys are fantastic. Terima kasih. 谢谢你多谢晒. Salamat po, kabayan kuya. And if I say something wrong in Filipino, you have to blame it on Gabby because he hasn't taught me well over the years. Thank you, thank you, everyone. And we'll look forward to host another AMA soon, I suppose, guys. Awesome.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much, everyone. Have a great
Maraming
evening.
salamat sa inyo lahat.